Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my NHL 20 franchise mode here in the state of hockey. In the previous episode, we went through the 2024 NHL entry draft, and holy smokes, guys and gals, we got a lot accomplished, and we're going to go through all those decisions, draft picks, trades, all that jazz. But before we get to the episode, we have to talk about a few things. Now, if you're watching this day to day, watching this series come out day to day, you're probably also up to date on the news in the world. Currently, the COVID-19 pandemic is sweeping the globe. Not a great thing. The NHL officially suspended operations today, or the day that you're watching this, or the day that this is uploaded. The NHL suspended their season, and I'm honestly not sure where the NHL goes from here. And the NBA, the commissioner of the NBA said at least 30 days. And that's a long time in the sports world, because then you think of the draft and free agency, and do you move that back, or do you just play the playoffs right up until those dates? Because I don't know what game we got to in the regular season in the NHL, 70 maybe? Somewhere around there. There's still lots of hockey left to be played, and people are saying, oh, just cancel the rest of the season, play the playoffs with the teams already in a position. And I think that's so unfair, because you have teams like New York and Minnesota who are 1 point out. You have a lot of teams that are in a race. And I want to do a video talking about that. I just feel like this is a good place to address it. You can skip ahead if you really feel like it. I'm not stopping you. I know you came here for some franchise mode, and you're going to get it. I just feel it's very relevant in the hockey world, in the sports world in general, to talk about this, because this isn't going to stop me from uploading every single day. I don't know what day this is. We're closing in on 200. If not, we've already hit 200. I believe we might have already hit 200 straight days of NHL 20 franchise mode, which is very impressive. Not to toot my own horn, but holy moly. And until something comes up, I will continue to do that. But I feel the 2019-2020 NHL season is going to be a weird season to look back at in about 5-10 years, when I got my own kids or something like that. It's going to be weird. There's going to be a lot of controversy. I think the NHL did the right thing by suspending operations, not canceling like the XFL, who canceled the rest of their games in the 2020 season. The NHL just suspended operations, and I could see it going and saying, just cancel it altogether. They won't play the rest of the season, but I feel you got a lot of teams that need to prove it right now, because it's like Schrodinger's cat. You won't know if it's dead until you open the box, and it's weird, because I feel like there's a lot of teams on the cusp of something great, and a good playoff run could change a lot of careers. But I'm not sure where the NHL goes. There's a lot of decisions to be made 1, 2, or 3 months, because this pandemic is not gonna get better very soon. 1-2 weeks. No, Ontario just closed public schools 2 weeks after March break. So you got March break and then 2+ weeks. So sucks that I'm not in school or in public school anymore. A few years too late. Why couldn't there be a deadly disease when I was in high school? No, that's terrible to say. It's just wash your hands, folks. And I know this is going to be irrelevant in a few years' time if you're coming back to watch this franchise mode. Hey, future you, always wash your hands. It's important, man. If you're gonna go to the washroom, have a number 2, wash your hands either way. Come on, guys. This is why we can't have nice things like the NHL. But I'm going to stop talking about that right now. I'm not sure how long this particular episode is going to be. I think we're just going to do the resign phase, get into free agency, make a few decisions. This isn't going to be the longest episode in the world because I do have to pre-record a few episodes. And even before we get to the franchise mode, I want to thank each and every one of my viewers for 300 subscribers. Yes, I hit it today when I woke up. My dad had messaged me and said, "Oh, congrats on 300," and I looked and we had officially hit 300. We were sitting on 295 there for a week or two. We slowed down, but the progression is really nice. I said 400 by the end of 2020. Personally, I think we're going to smash that. I think you guys are just the best fans in the world. I appreciate each and every comment. You guys taking time out of your days to comment and say what you want to say about this, and I appreciate each and every single comment. I know I haven't been as active because I've been busy with work and all of that jazz, creating my franchise mode, getting a few things going, potentially an MLB series, potentially, because I think that's out pretty soon. So there's a lot of ideas floating around the air. I'm not sure if I want to continue doing NHL because, hey, the NHL season is basically done and over with until further notice. So come here every day at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for some NHL 20, and maybe we can grow this channel together. If you have any suggestions, obviously, comment down below. Subscribe if you enjoy this. Share with people who you think might enjoy this sort of content. I appreciate all of your support. Yes, I know, already 7 minutes into this episode, and I haven't even started free agency, but I feel like this is a nice platform to talk about this sort of thing. Okay, let's just jump right into the contracts. Yes, the 2024 draft, we got a lot done. I mean, where do I start? And I think we're just going to start with one of the bigger trades in our franchise's history. We acquire Quinn Hughes' brother, the first overall pick in the 2019 NHL entry draft, Jack Hughes. 23 years of age. He's 88 overall. When we traded for him, he was only 83 overall. So a lot of that was probably morale. And you might be like, why would New Jersey trade him? And I can go in discussion about that for a very long time. New Jersey had a plethora of center prospects. They had Everberg. They just had one of the top prospects in that draft. They had a lot of awesome guys. Nico Hischier. They had a plethora. And my thoughts were that it would be harder to shape Jack Hughes, who is a natural center, into a left wing at the age that he is. He's 23. He's relatively young. Plenty of playing time left in his career. Plenty of ups and downs he'll go through, but New Jersey, he was not cutting it. I mean, he had a better rookie season in this game, not the best IRL. He staggered there. 78 points is really solid, and I think coming over here to Minnesota, he is going to thrive. I think he's going to be great. Now, we did trade Pastrnak. That might be debatable. We traded Pastrnak and a late first-round draft pick. I believe that might have been Tampa Bay's pick. I'm honestly not... Or our own first-round draft pick, 30th overall, if I'm not mistaken. You can debate that. Because on any other team, you wouldn't want to trade a Pastrnak because he's a top guy. But we have a guy like Numanen coming up who is going to be Pastrnak of the future. He's young. He's 21 years of age. He's going to be the next guy. And that second line, Höglander, Hughes, and Numanen, a sniper, a playmaker, that line could be really dangerous. I think they could be a more offensive threat now without Pastrnak. I think they're going to work really, really well. And Jack Hughes is the guy. We got Francis. We drafted him first overall. He's 99 overall. 2 MVPs in a row. 2 Art Rosses in a row. We haven't had a bona fide second-line center. We had Kunin. We had Beckman. We had Evgeny Malkin. We're going to talk about Evgeny Malkin in this episode. We had Borgstrom we just traded for. We had Raymond, who we ended up trading at the draft, which we will also talk about in this episode. We haven't had that guy in our last franchise mode. We had Savoie, we had Dubois, the top two, and I like having a top two tandem. I like having Francis and Hughes. I think they're going to complement each other very well. Jack Hughes will never overtake for that first line center position, but he's going to play a lot of time. I want this guy to thrive here in Minnesota. He's going to play with his brother. I think they're going to have great chemistry. I know he's anxious on this new team. He's coming over to a President's Trophy winning team. I'm not sure how this roster is going to compete right out of the gate. I think they're going to be stronger overall. I'm not sure if they're a President's winning team right away because I'm not sure how well they are going to gel right off the gate in an 82-game season. But I like the addition of Jack Hughes. It's one of the best trades I've ever made. I rarely go to this all forward screen of every team and check who's out there, but I think the New Jersey trade just made sense for both sides. I think it did. You guys might disagree, but I really, really like that deal. And actually, just a side note, something that I'm noticing here, Alexei Petrangelo is now a high franchise player. 21, we have him at a $7 million contract for 8 years. That contract is going to look legendary in the next year. It already looks great. Okay, where else do I go? Okay, let's talk about our first round draft picks. Okay, now, a controversial trade. Controversial in the sense that a lot of you guys didn't want me to trade Lucas Raymond. The offer on the table for him from Detroit was too great to not do it. We draft Maurice Potvin with 6th overall pick. He played in the QMJHL, 57 points in 67 games as a defenseman. He's probably going to be the replacement for Matt Dumba very, very soon. He could even jump up into the NHL this year. The trade on the table, we originally were going to trade Lucas Raymond for Jack Hughes, but then why would that make any sense? But the deal on the table, Detroit offered us a first from the previous draft, the 6th overall pick. Their first round draft pick. Next year they might be a solid team, but that's a first. More assets. I love that. They traded us also a prospect, or not a prospect, he's 2378 overall center, and Grew, I'm not sure how you pronounce that, and a 3rd round pick that we used to trade up in the draft. That trade was and I didn't want to wait on Lucas Raymond, try him one more time. He might even turn out to be a great NHL player, but I think the trade on the table worked in our favor too well. Now that we've got Jack Hughes, there's no room in the lineup anymore as it stands. I like Potvin. He could even, you know what? I'm going to offer him a contract right now. We also acquired Backer in the first round. Chubasov. I like these two guys. They're at a decent overall at their age. You know, they're both 18. They're both playing in Europe and Russia. I like both of these guys very, very much. I think they're going to be solid NHL additions one day, maybe even good trade assets. The other draft picks, the other draft picks that we made a lot of very, very solid picks, and I rarely go out and acquire a fantastic forward prospect in the later rounds. I know we got Smabby a few years ago, 3rd round. That's a pretty solid pick. But this year we selected Pete Curry in the 4th round, 95th overall. I didn't even trade up for that specific pick. I let it just go down the wire. If we got the chance to get him, we were going to do it. Pick landed at the exact point he was supposed to be drafted, and we select a 49 overall 18-year-old out of the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. I really, really like him, and I like what he brings to the table. I think it was a great draft. And then, just to top it all off, let's talk about the goaltenders. Our goaltending system is one of the best, if not the best, in the entire NHL. This draft, we went out and acquired the goaltender and Christian Rensfeld. in the second round. He was supposed to go around 80th, but I didn't feel like making the trade for just more assets. We could have been smart about it, but I just wanted to pick him because I felt like it. We might have gone out of the way for a guy that I didn't know was going to be a high elite. Now, he's 19, he's an overager, but he's got high elite, so that trade value is always nice. Maybe a guy for the future. We got Vasilyev, we got Mackey, we got Champion. We got a lot of guys here that we can call to very, very soon to be the next guy. You got Ulanov, you got Jones, you got Weeman, Bishop, who we might end up trading this offseason. We got a plethora of great prospects in this system to finagle our way into a better position. And I thought it was a fantastic draft. We got everything we needed to get done. More than I had hoped to get done. Honestly, I just wanted to get Raymond out of the way. I was going to do that Detroit trade I got the Detroit trade done. Fantastic deal. I think we win 10 times out of 10. And the Pasternak trade just kind of worked because they need an older presence on that team at not a solid contract, but they need that kind of guy over there to help out New Jersey. And we got a young guy who's going to reunite with his brother who's still very, very young. They're both 1 year apart. This team is going to... I think this team could potentially be very shaky out of the gates, but I think we're going to gel quite well. Okay, and it's resign phase. There's a lot of questions. There are a lot of questions, but we're going to start from the bottom. We're going to release a few guys. We're going to sign a few guys just to bolster our AHL. I mean, Lejunin, he's 69 overall, 20 years of age. Nice thrum. We can offer a contract. I have a feeling he won't want to come back just to help our AHL squad out. I'm not sure how well they did this season. I think they got eliminated in the third round, somewhere around there. He doesn't want to come back. Pouliot wants to come back, but I won't hate any of them if they don't feel like coming back to the Iowa Wild. Because, you know what? We're so good that maybe we don't even want to pay you, you know? I mean, we're just going to get these guys out of the way. I'm not even going to skip it. I'm just going to talk over it. And then we get to the depth guys. We got Leminko, you got Hicketts, you got Hickey. Oh, I love that. That would be a great tandem. Hickey doesn't want to come back. I thought he was a really solid player for us all season. 15 points, 12 plus 12 actually, 40 penalty minutes, which is quite high. But I'm gonna let him go just because we don't need that on our team. If he doesn't want to come back, I don't want to overpay for that. Leminko and Hicketts, I mean, if they want to come back at solid Leminko, he can be a depth guy for us. Hicketts, yeah, even better. I'll bring him back as a depth guy. Hartman doesn't want to come back, but I really like Hartman. He's a solid fourth line guy for us. I'll sign him at a 1.5. If he takes that deal, we'll be okay with it. And if we have to drop him, we will. And I have my roster sheet here, and here are two players that don't fall anywhere on it. You know, Evgeny Malkin, what would he want to come back for? $5 million. That's a great contract for Evgeny Malkin, Geno Malkin. Okay, he played 59 games this year, 58 points, fantastic season as a 37-year-old, but we got Jack Hughes for that reason alone. Young, full of talent. He's only got positive things going for him. I mean, he played one game, came back, was injured right away. That just took the breath out of the Stanley Cup Finals, which hurt. It hurt us a lot that he came in and got hurt right away. I know that's not necessarily his fault, but it said he was ready to go, and he got hurt. So we are going to actually release the three-time Stanley Cup champion, my bad, Evgeny Malkin. Enjoy free agency. Hopefully you go back to Pittsburgh. Now, the deadline acquisition that we were forced to make because we lost Evgeny Malkin. Now, isn't this an ironic situation to be in? Now, We could bring him back at a very, very solid contract, 26 years of age. And here is this comparable. Here is this comparable. We will talk about Borgstrom and Kunin. Kunin is at a $5.6 million contract, same age, making a lot of money. We could bring Borgstrom back, who might even be the better player, whom I'm honestly considering doing that, just because the money is going to get very, very hard for us very, very soon. And I think Borgstrom could make a great third-line center for us. Kunin was so good in the playoffs that it's hard to trade away a guy like that who was so good, and I think his overall just dipped because of morale. Then we got Beckman. Beckman is making the roster next year at that overall easily. We could afford Borgstrom. We could. But at this point, I like Kunin's play a lot more. Even his stats are honestly better overall than Borgstrom. He's a better competitor. I think he's going to help out that third line more than Borgstrom would. I know we wasted a first on Borgstrom. We got to the finals. He wasn't the best in the playoffs, but we got there. I think he helped out as much as he possibly could. I know this is a terrible way to use assets and waste them like that, but we got to the finals. We are in a better position now to succeed without him on our roster. I'm going to let Borgstrom go. We can easily find another centerman like that in free agency if we really need to. Okay, now let's head back to the UFAs. We're going to sim a day just to get these over with. Hopefully everybody comes back. Please just make my job a little easier. Hartman and Duhumane does not want to come back. Okay, Hartman. I really like Hartman on my team. He was really solid for us. I will go up to since we have the money, I will go up to $2 million for 1 season. 1 season. Let's simulate a day. Will he sign the contract? And he does. That is huge for us to get him back. I know he's in a sheltered role there on the fourth line, but I think he's a solid player for us. Now, the RFAs aren't as exciting as the UFAs. We got a few guys here. I'm going to start with Javi Bulin. I'm going to offer him a contract. Maybe we can get him up to 3 seasons at a minimum deal. Sick. Fedor Gordeev forever. Hell yes. Sokolov. Yep. Works for me. Then you got Lodina. I'm going to let go of him. Nope, we already signed him. Bitten. Yeah, we can always bring him back. And then you got Veleno and Addison. Veleno, maybe, yeah. He had 2 points with Detroit this year. I mean, they are a dumpster fire, but 2 points are 2 points. And that's just a guy to bring back just in case, that might even be a solid depth NHLer for us one day. Addison, does he want actual money? He does want money, and I'm not willing to give him money because he has proved absolutely nothing. I'm going to qualify him. If somebody offers him a contract, then we'll go from there. But right now, it's not that big of a deal. Thallenberger, I'm going to give a deal just because I can, and this is my YouTube channel. Backer, I'm honestly debating giving a contract because he could play in the AHL right now. Same with Chuasov, but they're 18. I'm going to give them a year just to play. Schmabby, is he going to get any better in the WHL? I'm going to leave him a year in the WHL. If I need to sign him on, we will, and we'll play him in the AHL. But right now, I don't see him cracking that lineup. And goaltending, we got a few guys here. Hunter Jones, we're going to offer a contract to. He doesn't want NHL money. Hell yes. Ulanov, we will also give a contract to. We're going to let go of these 2 fringe goaltenders because we don't need that in our lives. So to avoid a catastrophe and losing one of our goaltenders, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We can only have 6 signed. So who is the next guy to be signed? Next year we're losing Champion. We're losing Mackey. Riddle is a guy that we won't have to sign. But right now, I want to give the shot to Rensfeld. I think he could be a great AHL goaltender for us. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That works for me. Hopefully everybody comes back. Hopefully they just make it easy for me, man. I think there's going to be 1 or 2 rotten eggs. They all sign their contracts. Hell yes, we might even be moving on from Bishop anyway, so that's -1 goalie there. We're going to go to the RFAs. I think one of them gave us a problem there. Addison, nope, nobody gave us a problem, so we are actually going to go into free agency, see what's out there. We got to pick up a few depth guys, but I actually want to look at the coaching staff here real quick. We only need an associate coach. Nobody needs to be re-signed this year. I don't want to mess around with our coaches just because of how well we did in the regular season. We were a good team in the postseason too. A lot of iffy moments. I think that just comes down to goaltending in certain situations. Okay. I'm actually going to sign scouts just off camera. So that is all sorted out. Thank God I didn't have to deal with that very long because scouts are never fun to deal with. Hopefully they all come back. Don't give me any problems because I will have to fight each and every one of them if they do. Lots of screens here. Thank you. Yes, just keep popping up, making my day easier and easier by the moment. So we have 45 contracts, 5 extra slots to play with. I don't feel like bringing on a lot. Is there a superstar out here? The best guy out here right now, I would say, you got a former Minnesota Wild and Joel Eriksson-Ek. Solid player. How did he do in... Where did we trade him to? Colorado? We traded him to Colorado. We actually played in Iowa a bit that season, 15 and 28. Not bad. 15 and 82. Now, that's not great. He's been an okay NHLer in the last 2 years. Injured a little bit. But I definitely don't think he's worth $6 million. Mantha, who just came off a $10 million contract from Detroit, 35 points in Montreal last year. Oh, wow. Did I forget he was traded to Montreal? Probably. Because, I'm sorry, man, that poor guy. You got Wilson, who would be a solid addition to any team because he's a pest and nobody likes him, but you would like him if he was playing for your team. Andre Palat, Timo Teravainen, Evgeny Malkin. There's a few guys here. Nothing that I think that fits solidly into our lineup. Just nice and easy. Is there any guys that fell through the draft? You got Frolov. Any other guys here asking for no money at all? Not looking like it. Any defensemen fell through at all? Anybody? Not looking like it. Any goaltenders? Who's the best goalie out there right now? Oh my, there might be a few goalies out here. The best goalie out there right now is Caden Primo. He is an RFA. Yep, Montreal, too bad. You got Ilya Samsonov, who is a free agent officially. Not a great season with Washington last year. I don't think we're looking for that starting goaltender this year. I think we're just looking for a nice complement goalie to Weeman. And I think, do we hold on to Ben Bishop? Is that a guy that we hold on to? Because he was solid. We got money this season. His contract ends next year. There isn't a lot of things we have to accomplish here in free agency. Right? That would be I think that's the smartest move. We already have a backup goalie who's there working for us. I think I'm smart. I got it. Okay. So, we are bottom pairing for defense is looking no, it's not looking at all. I have nobody penciled in our bottom pairing. Why is Yannick Weber there? Wait, what? That's so confusing. Who's the guy that fits in? I'm looking for cheap, reliable options. Is that Colin Miller? Maybe $2 million. That's not bad. Hickey. I would love to bring back Hickey just because of how well he played. I think I'm going to even offer him a contract for 1 year. Yeah, come back. You were great with us. $3 million for 1 year. You'll sign that contract. I know that's an overpayment, but just sign it. Now you need a guy to compliment you. Tyler Myers. I would love a Tyler Myers. He's a beauty. He's 6'8". Now I want Tyler Myers just because I feel like it. You got Jake Muzzin, who's kind of fallen out of being a great player. You got Victor Mete, who's a lefty. I think he's an RFA. Yep, he is an RFA. You got Ben Hutton, Addison, who's ours, who not even NHL ready, really. But then you get into guys that are very similar to him. You got Jeff Petrie, who's a beauty, underrated NHL defenseman. Do we go with a McCabe? I'm looking for a righty. I like keeping righties righty and lefties lefty. You got Nikita Zaitsev, who's asking for $4 million. Now, Nikita Zaitsev, something you have not learned in your career is that you are not worth almost $5 million. In no league, you are worth that kind of money. Why won't you understand that? Colin Miller is looking like a really solid option. I'm just not sure he'd work in our lines. I do like Oliver Kylington. I know how I was talking about keeping lefties lefty, and it says he'd work on all defensive pairings. And I really, really like that. He's Swedish. Gotta love a Swede. But I do like Tyler Myers. If it says he works... Oh, it says he works in none. So, I think the best option right now is a cheap Oliver Kylington. Shillington. I think that's how they say it. Shillington, for some weird friggin' reason. You got Gooley. You got Zaitsev. I mean, we could spend money on Zaitsev to play a depth role. But he's a two-way defenseman. I'm going to go with Kylington. It says he works. We'll give him 1 year, similar to... We'll give him 3.3 over 1 season. Now, I think those trades right there make sense. But before we get to that, before we sim to that, I actually want to... I just want to look. I just want to look at a roster. I feel like I had a decision to make. I mean, let's look at Ben Bishop. Ben Bishop, I feel like he's going to drop off a bit this season. Yeah, that's going to happen. He's 84 overall, but I think he could be a solid backup for us this season because overalls literally don't matter in this game. They don't. They do not matter. Maybe in simulation, yeah, maybe. I mean, Jones might even take that spot. We got a lot of goalies. We got a lot of goalies to work with. A lot of goalies. Is there any assets here I'd be willing to move? I know this is a weird episode. There's not a whole lot going on. It's just us talking about things. Is there any contracts that I want to get off the books within the next season? Kunin might be the guy gone quite soon just because Beckham looks to be a really solid replacement. We could have said the same thing about Borgstrom, but Zucker maybe. No, I don't hate any of these guys here right now. We did have Potvin. Do I think he's going to make the NHL lineup this year? We can play him. I think we might test the waters with him. I think our roster is set. Acquiring those two defensemen would be the perfect thing to happen for us. And I think our roster is set. Getting Hartman, I got to pencil him in there for the fourth line. I think we could be a really solid team next year. I want us to get back to the Stanley Cup Finals, and I want us to win. So let's simulate a few days. Let's get this free agency over with so I can go record some regular season footage. Oliver Shillington, Kylington, however you want to say it, has accepted his offer, 27 years of age, 6 foot. I like that. And Thomas Hickey comes back with the Minnesota Wild, 35 years of age. He's going to be a beauty for us. And I think that's all I have to accomplish here for this episode. I have that coach, the associate coach, but I feel like I really don't need to put that on camera because it's nothing that important. It's an AHL associate coach. I'll just do that off camera. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed this one, please leave a like, leave a comment, share with people who you think may enjoy this sort of thing. I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.